Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. In today's world, emotional games are more common than honest connection. Many men find themselves caught in webs of manipulation, confused, heartbroken, and unsure how to respond. But the truth is, you don't need to fight fire with fire. You need clarity, you need presence, and most importantly, you need to stop chasing and start leading. In this video, you'll discover how to outsmart any woman who plays games with your heart, not through control or retaliation, but through self-mastery. We'll explore timeless wisdom, real-world examples, and the psychology of emotional intelligence that will help you reclaim your power, your peace, and your purpose. So if you're tired of guessing her intentions, doubting yourself, or being pulled into drama, this is your call to rise above. This is your call to become unshakable. Like, share, and subscribe to join the Stoic Golden Tribe, and drop a comment below when you hear the truth that hits you hardest. Chapter 1. The Game of Illusion. Recognizing emotional tactics. In every era, men have faced one timeless battlefield, the domain of love. But today, many men find themselves not fighting for love, but fighting against confusion. The rules have changed, or perhaps they've simply been disguised. Women play games not always to deceive, but often to test, to validate, to protect their own emotional insecurities. And if you don't know the game is being played, you're already losing. Consider Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, Stoic philosopher, and a man whose heart endured both grief and manipulation. Despite his power, he never sought to control others emotionally. He mastered himself instead. When his wife Faustina was rumored to be unfaithful, Marcus did not explode in rage or spiral in paranoia. He observed, reflected, and continued ruling with presence and clarity. He understood this truth: emotions are not the enemy, reactions are. Today, men encounter behaviors like hot and cold affection, delayed texts, passive-aggressive hints, or deliberate jealousy triggers. These are not just random actions, they are emotional tactics designed to draw out a specific response. Whether she's testing your value, avoiding her vulnerability, or seeking attention, the common thread remains. Her actions aim to shift your emotional center of gravity. But what if you refused to move? The first step to outsmarting any emotional game is recognizing that it's a game in the first place. This requires emotional detachment, not apathy, but awareness. The ability to feel without becoming enslaved by those feelings. Emotional intelligence at its highest level is not about reading her mind, it's about reading your own heart accurately. Can you recognize when your ego is reacting? Can you tell the difference between love and addiction? Can you remain calm when your instincts tell you to chase? High-value men do not chase clarity. They become it. Imagine this. You send a message and receive silence. Most men spiral. Did I say something wrong? Is she losing interest? They send more messages, they apologize for nothing, they try to win back attention. And in doing so, they give away power, not because she took it, but because they offered it. Now imagine a man who understands the silence. He knows it may be a test, a delay, a tactic, or nothing at all, but he doesn't need to react. His life is full. His mind is clear. He remains still. He chooses action only when it aligns with his values, not his insecurities. That man is unshakable. Women test not just to play games, but to see who you really are under pressure. Fail the test, and she sees weakness. Pass it with grace, and she feels trust. Here's the key truth. The moment you begin reacting to her behavior, instead of acting from your center, you lose frame. And when you lose frame, you lose attraction. King Solomon, the wisest man in biblical history, once wrote, "He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city." This is the essence of power in emotional warfare. Rule your spirit, and no one can rule you. This is not about controlling women. It's about controlling the only thing you ever truly could, yourself. So when she cancels plans last minute, when she flirts with others in front of you, When she vanishes only to return like nothing happened, you will not react. You will observe, you will evaluate, you will decide, not from insecurity, but from alignment. Because when you no longer fear losing her, you become the man she fears losing. Comment below. I am the calm in the chaos. Chapter 2. Emotional Alchemy. Turning manipulation into mastery. Manipulation is a form of power, but only when it goes unnoticed. The moment you see it for what it is, its grip dissolves. That's where emotional alchemy begins. A high-value man doesn't just resist the games, he transforms them into wisdom, presence, and deeper self-control. Napoleon was a strategic genius, commanding empires and reshaping Europe. But in matters of love, Josephine held a strange power over him. Early in their relationship, she played distant, elusive, even dismissive. Napoleon, despite his brilliance on the battlefield, wrote desperate letters filled with longing and insecurity. Her indifference became his emotional weakness. He chased, she withdrew. And the balance of power shifted not because she was more intelligent, but because she understood the game better. Eventually, Napoleon learned. He stopped writing with desperation. He turned his energy back toward his mission. And suddenly, Josephine returned with renewed affection. The man who leads himself leads the dynamic. This chapter is about developing that kind of leadership, not just in the world, but in your emotional world. Understand the game, but don't play it. You're not here to become manipulative in return. You're here to become so emotionally intelligent that manipulation doesn't affect you. That's real power. Any man can ghost back. Any man can use silence as a weapon. But a high-value man doesn't lower himself. He elevates the conversation, or he walks away in peace. Remember this Stoic wisdom from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When a woman plays games, ask yourself, what does she hope to see in me? Weakness, insecurity, jealousy? If your response is grounded, centered, and emotionally sovereign, you've already won. The 5 emotional tactics women often use and how to outsmart them. 1. The hot and cold approach. One day she's warm and attentive, the next she's cold and distant. This builds emotional addiction, leaving you constantly chasing her next validation hit. How to outsmart. Remain consistent with your own energy. Do not mirror her volatility. Instead, set the tone. If she pulls away, respect the distance, but don't fill the gap with desperation. You are not here to earn affection. You are here to receive what's genuine. 2. Delayed responses and ghosting. This tactic keeps you in uncertainty, wondering where you stand. It's a subtle power play that tempts you to chase. How to outsmart. Silence speaks volumes. When she disappears, go silent too, not as a punishment, but as a reflection. You value clarity. You respect communication. If she returns, address the pattern calmly. If not, you already walked away with dignity. 3. Jealousy. Triggers. She may bring up other men or post attention-seeking content to provoke emotion. How to outsmart. Never compete. Never compare. Stay unbothered. Real masculinity is grounded. If her validation requires making you feel small, she's not ready for a man of depth. Detach with grace. 4. Testing your boundaries. She may ask you to compromise your standards to prove your affection. How to outsmart. Don't argue. Simply say, that doesn't align with me. A man who honors his values is 10 times more attractive than a man who betrays himself to keep someone else. 5. Playing the victim. She may shift blame, twist situations, or emotionally guilt-trip you. How to outsmart. Stay factual, not emotional. You're not here to fix her emotions, you're here to honor truth. When you remain calm, focused, and rational, the guilt loses its grip. The power of controlled vulnerability. Outsmarting games doesn't mean closing your heart. It means controlling the opening. Vulnerability is strength when shared with discernment. It is weakness when poured out to win validation. Tell her how you feel, but from a position of clarity. Example, I value honesty and presence. I don't do emotional circles or confusion. If we're aligned, great. If not, I walk peacefully. This isn't a threat, it's a boundary. And boundaries are the language of high-value men. How emotional alchemy makes you magnetic. The man who feels deeply but responds wisely is rare. He's the opposite of reactive. He's composed, not cold, but clear. He doesn't beg, he doesn't fight for attention, he filters. This kind of man is unforgettable, because the truth is, when you stop reacting to games, you force people to reveal who they really are. Some will rise, some will fall away, but you rise either way. Seneca once said, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." When you master yourself, you become the one no game can touch. Comment below. I respond with power, not panic. Chapter 3. The Inner Frame, Becoming the Man. She can't manipulate. Every man who has ever lost himself chasing a woman knows the emptiness that follows. Not just the silence she leaves behind, but the silence within himself. That's why mastering emotional intelligence isn't just about reacting better. It's about becoming unshakable from within. You don't win the game by playing it better. You win by not needing to play it at all. In this chapter, we build your inner frame, the mental, emotional, and philosophical foundation of a high-value man. A frame so strong that no woman, no rejection, no manipulation, no loss can fracture it. What is frame, and why does it matter? Frame is your internal compass. It is the structure of your beliefs, your values, your self-worth, and the standard by which you interpret the world. When you have a weak frame, you interpret a woman's mood as your responsibility. Her attention becomes your validation. Her approval becomes your emotional oxygen. But when you have a strong frame, you understand that you are the source of value. You are not reacting to her behavior. You are inviting her into your world, your pace, your standard. This is what Stoic philosopher Zeno of Citium discovered when his shipwreck left him with nothing. Instead of breaking down, he began his journey into philosophy. He said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." Why? Because he lost the world but found himself. That is the core of emotional frame, losing nothing that truly belongs to you and becoming everything you truly are. The power dynamic. Shift, lead or be led. When a woman senses that her mood dictates your confidence, she instinctively pulls away. Not out of cruelty, but out of biological programming. Women are wired to test for leadership, stability, strength. It's not about domination, it's about direction. If she can pull you emotionally like a puppet, she knows you can't lead her through life. She may not say it, but she feels it. High-value men don't ask for emotional clarity, they create it. So when she sends mixed signals, you don't ask, "What does she mean?" You ask, "Does this align with my standards?" When she withdraws affection, you don't say, "What did I do wrong?" You say, "If it's genuine, it flows. If it's not, I release it." Because your worth is not a product of her perception, it's a product of your principles. The power of inner standards. Theodore Roosevelt, one of the most rugged presidents in American history, endured immense personal pain, including the death of his wife and mother on the same day. Instead of collapsing, he retreated into the wilderness to rebuild himself, physically, emotionally, and mentally. When he returned unshakable. His masculinity wasn't loud, it was rooted. He didn't seek pity or permission. He defined his life on his terms. Women may test your emotional frame, but they will respect you for having one. And those who don't, they're simply not ready for a man of substance. The 3 pillars of an unbreakable frame. 1. Self-validation. You must become your own source of approval. Celebrate your progress. Acknowledge your wins. Correct your course without self-hatred. When a woman senses that you are proud of who you are, she no longer controls your self-esteem. 2. Non-neediness. Neediness is not about texting too much. It's about emotional dependence. If your peace, confidence, or masculinity depends on how she treats you, you've already lost your frame. Reclaim it by detaching your identity from her response. 3. Stoic leadership. You are not here to fix her mood swings. You're here to remain steady through them. Calm, firm, unbothered. That doesn't mean being emotionless. It means leading the emotional space with wisdom. What happens when you stay in frame? When you maintain emotional discipline, 3 things happen. 1. She begins to respect you more. Even if she disagrees, she can trust your consistency. 2. You begin to respect yourself. You're no longer ashamed of your reactions. You're proud of your restraint. 3. The game ends. Because she knows she can't pull you into emotional chaos. She has to meet you in emotional clarity or walk away. This is how high-value men protect their hearts, not with walls, but with wisdom. This isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. You don't lose love by being emotionally stable. You attract the kind of love that requires it. Love isn't a battlefield, it's a mirror. Whatever shows up in your relationships will reflect what's happening in your inner world. If you're chasing, it's because you're empty. If you're overreacting, it's because your worth is unanchored. If you're constantly anxious about her next move, it's because you haven't built a solid inner frame. But when you change the internal landscape, the external relationships transform. Love becomes a place of choice, not chaos, of growth, not games. Let them test you, let them pull back, let them try to make you doubt yourself. You won't flinch, because you know exactly who you are, and that's the kind of man no woman can manipulate. Comment below. I don't chase, I choose. Chapter 4. The Return of the King, Reclaiming Your Power in Love. There comes a moment in every man's journey when he has to stop blaming women, stop blaming society, stop blaming the past, and start looking inward. Because true power is never taken from you, it is only given away. And now it's time to take it back. This final chapter is about reclaiming your masculine authority in love. Not as a tyrant, not as a victim, but as a king. Not in fantasy, but in principle. Not in dominance, but in self-mastery. Stop asking why she plays games. Start asking why you entertain them. It's easy to get caught in the loop of decoding her actions. Why is she hot and cold? Why does she ignore me, then flirt with me? Why does she say one thing and do another? But the deeper question, the one a high-value man must ask, is this. Why do I allow myself to be emotionally invested in someone who doesn't meet my standards? Because the truth is this, women don't need to stop playing games. You just need to stop participating. This is where emotional intelligence becomes masculine authority. Not through force, through filtration. Not every woman deserves access to your inner world, your energy, your presence, your leadership, your love. That kind of love is sacred, it is earned, and it is non-negotiable. Let's revisit the emperor of discipline, Marcus Aurelius, one last time. He ruled an empire, he battled plagues, wars, and betrayal, and yet he wrote every morning in his journal, reminding himself to be calm, patient, and focused. One entry read, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." That's the mindset of a king, not obsessed with control, but with conduct, not chasing the world's approval, setting a standard the world must rise to meet. This is the energy you bring into relationships when you stop seeking love to feel whole and start choosing love from wholeness. Your love is a kingdom, not a playground. A woman who plays games belongs to a man who's still playing with identity, but a woman who desires depth, truth, peace, she seeks a man who has built something worth entering. Your love is not a casual offer. Your loyalty is not cheap. Your presence is not available for drama. You are not here to compete for her attention. You are here to lead her or leave her, and if she isn't ready to rise to that standard, you walk away, not out of anger, but out of respect for yourself, because you are the prize, and when you finally act like it, everything changes. How to walk like a king in the modern world. 1. Be clear on what you stand for. A man without standards will always be seduced by chaos. Define your code. What do you tolerate? What do you never entertain? What does a woman have to bring beyond beauty? 2. Speak less, say more. A king doesn't explain his value, he simply embodies it. When she pulls away, you don't chase. When she plays games, you don't argue. You respond with calm, concise truth or silence. 3. Master your emotions like a warrior. Monk anger, jealousy, desperation. These are the shadows of an undisciplined man. Practice stillness, meditate. Journal. Train your mind and body daily. A king rules within before he rules without. 4. Protect your time like gold. A woman who's unclear, inconsistent, or manipulative gets no access. Not because you're cruel, but because your time is too valuable for emotional chaos. You give it to women who come with clarity, peace, and purpose. 5. Build a mission bigger than her. Women may be the complement to your kingdom, but never the center of it. Your legacy, your purpose, your growth, that is the throne you sit on. And if she's worthy, she'll join you there, not distract you from it. What she really wants, but won't say, a woman may test you, pull back, play games, but what she truly wants is a man she can trust with her emotions. Not a man who collapses, not a man who begs. A man who can hold space for her feelings without losing command of his own. She wants to feel your strength without fearing your weakness. She wants to be led, not manipulated, not controlled, but led with vision, with love, with certainty. And the only way to become that man is to become that man. In solitude, in silence, in self-reflection. Not through her attention, but through your own alignment. You are not here to be played. You are here to be remembered. You are not her toy. You are not her fallback. You are not her emotional experiment. You are the storm she didn't see coming. You are the stillness she didn't know she craved. You are the man who doesn't need her games because he's already won the war within. So walk forward now, not angry, not bitter, but awakened. Let them play, let them test, let them try. You don't flinch because you don't chase love. You are love. Comment below. I sit on the throne. I do not beg to be let in.